Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of the Sydney Sevens. This time it is the women's quarterfinal between Fiji and Ireland. Looking through this Fijiana women's side, they are looking strong. They were able to get themselves a big win during the group stages that then qualified them for the round of 8. And at the moment, we're seeing a bit of an upset. Australia being beaten at the moment with 2 minutes left on the clock, 10 points to nil up against the French. So it will be interesting to see how that game progresses. But the winner of this game will go on to face up against the winner of New Zealand versus Japan. So more than likely in that game, I don't want to jinx it, but I would say New Zealand have a pretty good shot of going through and winning that game. Looking through at Fiji's starting lineup, it will be Nagasau, Baleki, Nabura. She's been playing pretty well in the Sydney Seven so far. Anna Maria Naimasi. She was able to get herself 2 tries in the opening game for Fijiana. Ripia Lunasau, always a world-class player. And it is Dalawau and also Bessie, the last lady in the Fijian starting lineup. Then for the Irish, it will be Stacey Flood, Baker, Parsons, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, Lucy Mulhall. Those two are definitely the two to watch for Ireland. And then Eve Higgins and Emily Lane. But looking at the chat, we have got Nate in the chat has said, good evening, boss. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're excited. Got some big quarterfinals just around the corner. This is the only women's game that we are doing of the quarters, but we've got 4 back-to-back men's matches, including Samoa versus New Zealand. Quarterfinal, it's the equivalent of a final. We've got South Africa, Ireland as another massive one, and Aussie girls fighting back against French girls. Yep, they've just scored themselves a try. They haven't got too much time left on the clock, but they're going to keep on fighting to see if they can get themselves that comeback victory. So they will be going on to face up against the USA, the winner of Australia versus France, I should mention as well. Looking through at the benches, it will be Riwai, Kavuru, Solikoviti, Wilson, and also Rocco Tuisiga as the last lady off the bench for Fiji. Ireland, they've got McGann, Bowles, Burns, McCabe, and Kinlan there. And on your faith, Nathan, she was just able to score a very nice try, yes, for the Aussies. But do let me know your score prediction for this one, Nate. Do you think that Fiji can go on and get themselves the win? The thing is, after the group stage that they've had, I want to say they've got a good chance. They've got more of a chance than I think they did last week if this was the same matchup. They seem to have improved drastically since playing in Hamilton, and they want to get themselves through to a mid-off playoff game. And that would be what they need to do just to keep the dreams alive of the Fijiana supporters. You know, it's been a little while. We saw them do very nicely. Who can forget that Olympic Games when they were able to get themselves that bronze medal with New Zealand getting the gold and France getting the silver? It's hard to predict between these two right now, says Blues. And I agree with that. It depends on what Fijian side show up and also how much ball Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe does end up having. At the moment, Australia going for their one last attack. They're running a little bit behind in terms of time at the moment for the ladies' games. And it's going to be a scrum fee for France at the moment. Good luck to both teams, says Blues Nate. But yeah, the next game that we have got, it will be New Zealand versus Samoa. That is then followed by, it will be South Africa versus Ireland, followed by Fiji versus Great Britain, and then it will be last game, Australia versus France, who are on home soil at the moment. So actually the same for the men's and the women's matches. It's going to be a free kick for France with 10 seconds left. They'll take the quick tap, and I believe as long as nothing goes wrong for them, she's going to be running away from the Australians. She's going to get shut down, though. Oh, Australia got penalised. So that will be the end of the game. And France will move through to the semi-finals for one of the women's matches. So the intensity building at the moment for a lot of these matches. But Fijiana, they'll be ready to go. They've waited patiently for their opportunity. Nice, let's get it, boss. Here's Nate. And there as well. Key players, I would say definitely Ripia Lunasau, Naimasi for the Fijians, Lucy Mulhall and Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Those two have been absolutely brilliant, but also alongside that, someone like a Kathy Baker, a little bit less well-known, but very effective when she's out on the field. Look out for the number 6 throughout this match for the Irish, because they will certainly be trying to pack a punch in this game up against Fijiana. And like I mentioned, the winner of this game, they'll go on to face either New Zealand or Japan. So there's still plenty on the line, but we know that one semi-final for the women, it will be USA versus France. The other side is still to be confirmed. For a score prediction for myself, I will go I don't like betting against Fiji for score predictions because normally that's when they just go brilliantly. I'll go Ireland win this game 26 points to 19. 7-point difference. I think both sides going to be able to score relatively freely. It's a beautiful night at Allianz Stadium, and the crowd are absolutely loving the atmosphere. And Fiji, the reason I think it's going to be close for them is because they have got a huge amount of support. We heard earlier on when the men's side went out to warm up during the South Africa versus New Zealand game, there was more of a reaction when Fiji made their way out of the tunnel in a game they weren't playing in than there was when New Zealand or South Africa scored themselves a try. That's how much support Fiji have got in Sydney at the moment. And they were actually my pick to go all the way in the men's. My pick to go all the way in the women's was New Zealand. So they are still alive in the comp. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. 5-10 to Ireland or 21-10 to Fiji. And Brisbane Heat doing good in the BBL. Fiji win this 27-15. Yeah, Brisbane Heat, to a certain extent, you'd say they also got a bit lucky with the way that the DLS does work out. But they set a very good total in that first innings of 203. Making it through to the next playoff game. But Lucy Mulhull will kick this one off for the Irish, and the quarterfinal between these two ladies' sides is underway. It's going to be slapped back, and the possession now back in the hands of the Irish. And straight away, Kathy Baker. I mentioned watch out for her. She's been hit high in the tackle. Now Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe goes across the Mulhull. Quick hands from Stacey. Flood shut down very quickly, and the penalty goes back for the Irish. Okay, double blow of the whistle here. Fiji have not made a cup final a cup semi-final this season. So the fact that they were able to do it at the Olympics of all occasions, I still remember that moment for Fiji. It was absolutely huge. The men won the men's match for Fiji. The women, they came third, which was higher than anyone expected of them. And that's why it would be nice to somehow see Fiji make it through the semi-final. Hi, says Amira. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well once again. You're excited for the semi-finals that we have got just around the corner for the women, and also the quarterfinals for the men that are coming up later on tonight. About to be fed in by Emily Lane. Passing off to the left-hand side. Nice step there. Now back across, couple big shots. Also WWE Royal Rumble tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or the next day, Robert? Is it on Sunday or Monday? I always thought that it was on Monday for pay-per-views. But if it's tomorrow, I would be very keen. Although the only problem that I've got is I'm sure someone in the chat will spoil it for me before I finish it. If I'm doing streams at high tackle, why the call comes late, says Amira. So they did go advantage for a little while, which I think is why they went back for that penalty. Ireland have made the most errors through pool play this weekend of 11. So that's a promising stat that Fiji will be looking at. Nice run forward from Nagasau. Ball's gone loose. Emily Lane picks it up. Now loose ball. The Irish, they go down the wing. Nice run from Eve Higgins. Now short side Lane. Once again, Higgins gets that ball. She's driven into touch by Fiji. Beautifully done. And 29th for Australia and New Zealand. Is it? Oh. See, I always thought it was the 29th over there. So the 30th for us. But I could be very wrong. And when Fiji got the ball, then high tackle was called. Says Amira. Currently, we see the New Zealand women's side warming up in the background. They will be taking on Japan in a very short moment. The winner of this game goes on to face the winner of New Zealand versus Japan as well. Nicely taken at the front by Nabura. Goes off to Nagasau. I believe she will be very busy throughout this one. Nice fend from Ripia Lunesau. In fact, this time it's Naimasi. Gets a couple of extra meters. Fiji 10 out from their line, though. They can't afford to hang around just in front of their own goal line, because if they end up with the turnover against them, the quick tap opportunity is there. Lunisau now finds the offload on the outside. Here come the Fijians once again down the wing. It will be Bessie, and I don't think the Irish are going to catch her. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe trying to cut it off to make it a harder kick, but Bessie scores, and the Fijians strike first in the quarterfinals, and it's a full field try, 90 meters. We just saw Eunice Bessie have to run, but it was a brilliant bit of work there from Lunisau, lured in two defenders, including Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, who's normally known as one of the speedsters of the women's sevens circuit, but because she took a little bit longer trying to handle Lunisau, it meant that Bessie got the head start, and she was pinning her ears back and just flying at the try line. A nice play by Fijian girl. Cesar Mira, the kick is unsuccessful though. Somewhere where Fiji definitely don't want to give up too many points in this contest, but they currently sit 5-0 up over the Irish. So a nice start to the match for Fiji. Definitely because they haven't had a huge amount of territory in this contest. A lot of this game has been played inside of the opposition's, inside of their 22. Now fired back across. Ireland looking for the wide pass. Nice run down the wing. Inside ball. Lane driven backwards and a good tackle by Anna Maria Naimasi again. She's been told to release. She did not. So it is going to be the penalty. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Then we've got the whole of the second, so still 10 minutes left. Anything can happen. I hope the scoreboard updates soon. Fiji have actually got themselves a nice lead here, 5-0 at the moment. Ireland kicked that one into touch, 45 metres out from the Fijian line now. The Irish will have the throw. One penalty apiece so far throughout this one. Fiji, a lot more offloads throughout the Sevens circuit recently than we have seen from the Irish. Step from Higgins. Once again, Lane plays halfback. It was a little bit of a rough pass into the hands of Kathy Baker, but she was just able to reach out enough to get onto that one. Mulhull goes on the outside. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe now with her first run of the ball. Tackled quickly by Bessie. Does take her down nicely. Mulhull once again goes across. It's gone through the hands. Referee says backwards. Now Lane tries to step. Good low tackle made by the number 3, Balecki. Fiji defending well here, not allowing them through, but now it's going to be the grubber attempt. Alunisau has to chase it. She's got her hands on it, but she's driven down 2 metres out from the line. Was there a clear release? The penalty goes the way of the Irish. They say there was. So now 5 metres out from the line. All they have to do is run this one in for Ireland, but they've blown it 1 metre out from the line. Going out wide now. Mulhull, she sees the line. She goes through an Ireland score. I don't know. It was a very quick release if there was one there from the Irish player, but Ireland reaped the rewards. They have been able to get themselves the first try of the contest. We're going to see it here. This will be a better angle to show it. So it's taken by Alunisau. She is tackled. There was a little bit of a starfish. I think they counted that as a release. Mulhull does score the try. Fiji have conceded, and now the score is going to be 7 points to 5 with 50 seconds left in the half now. This is where Fiji, it's going to be so important for them not to concede again. What we will do is we will go like this. And we will go like this. Here we go. Now ball on the outside. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Pace. She's going to be just stopped. That is last-ditch effort there. That might have been deliberately knocked down by Fiji. The Mulhull going to hang on to this one. 10 seconds left. A rush defense. Tackling her low, but she was offside. And it's going to go back for the penalty now in favour of the Irish again. Whistle has been blown for halftime. Or in fact, sorry, the siren has gone for halftime. Still got a little bit more time. The scoreboard's gone to sleep again. Still not giving the Irish the points. Mulhull pins her ears back and then finds the pass to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, who did look for a miracle offload. It doesn't play off the way that they would have liked. A great low tackle made. Just a little bit offside is the only thing you would say. But now it's going to be going back across to the right-hand side. Mulhull stepping again. She's already scored one today. Looking for her second. Penalty to the Irish again. So many penalties coming against Fiji. The quick tap take and flood with the pass out wide to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. And that will be the try to the Irish. And they now find themselves sitting 12 points to 5 up with an important conversion to come. That man kind of looked like one of George's Irish workers. Stephen, he loves a vodka Red Bull, that man. He had about 4 in one night. I think he was absolutely buzzing off the walls throughout the whole evening. Did not sleep. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe out wide. Scores the try. It's a tough conversion. Just missed the way to the right-hand side. So the score will remain 12 points to Ireland and 5 for the Fijians. All right, we all go like this. We'll go like this. There we go. Halftime in this contest, Fiji. It's been a long time since they've reached a semi-final. They actually haven't yet in this year of the Sevens, or this, I guess, the competition of the Sevens, due to the 2022 legs also being a factor. Ireland, they've been there a few times. They've had a couple good runs. France, they were able to make their way through to the semi-finals alongside the USA. So that will be the game on that side of the draw. And then this side will be the winner of this game taking on the winner of New Zealand versus Japan, which is only just around the corner. And then just a little bit further around the corner in 40 minutes' time, we have got the men's final between Samoa and New Zealand. Or sorry, the quarterfinal, I should say. Although it's the equivalent of a final, it's a massive game. Cannot wait to see who takes out that one. They're playing a little bit of Sweet Caroline at Allianz Stadium. Still not as many in attendance as I thought there would be for this day, but certainly plenty of support for the Flying Fijiana women's side. And hopefully they will be able to get a little bit closer back into this match in the second half. I'd love to see it go down to the wire. I feel like that is exactly what the crowd want to see. I just don't know why the ref always makes biased decision against Fiji women's or men's team, says Amira. And there as well. I guess it just depends on the game flow. Sometimes you get stuck in that momentum of, like, if a team's already infringed a few times, you start to look at them more than the other team, if that makes sense. As a referee, it's very hard when a side has given away a few penalties to not ending up in a bit of a pattern. Does that make sense? I think so. It's tricky because Fiji, they did give away a couple early penalties. And then from there, the referee's been watching them with laser eyes, just keeping an eye on them, making sure they don't make any mistakes. Mulhall now has it. They're still playing Neil Diamond at the ground. They're about to get to Sweet Caroline. They had to cut it off, but the crowd are going to carry it on. But now it is going to be the Irish with the ball in hand. I wonder how long of the song the crowd are going to continue for, because they're still singing it and they've finished the chorus almost. And Drew Boss says Blues Nate. Okay, they've finished singing the song. They're giving a round of applause to the crowd as well. But 6.5 minutes left for the Fijians. They will need to score twice to have a chance of winning this game. And even then, I think the Irish, they will definitely be trying to fire back. I'm trying to remember what my score prediction was. I think I said 26 for Ireland, 19 for Fiji. So we're a wee way off that. There's going to have to be a lot of tries in the second half. And now Mulhall gives it off to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Steps round one. It's starting to get a little bit sloppy from Fiji in the defence. And Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe will be going through. And she does score the try for Ireland. It's going to be her second of the match. And now Ireland's starting to run away with this game just that little bit more. Makes it difficult for Fiji, being 17 points to 5 down. Should be a relatively easy kick. It's interesting because this was actually the second try for Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe in this match and her second of the Sydney Sevens. Other than that, she hasn't been scoring. So choosing the perfect game to find your form and making the absolute most of it, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Which is always a fun name to say because it's got 4 parts. I'm trying to think if we got any other. Anna Maria Naimasi, that's a 3-parter. Also a couple other 3-parters for Baleki, Narohi McGarvey Black. I don't think there's anyone else with 4 names on the 7 circuit that I can think of. I'm sure one of you guys will be able to remind me of someone else. Maybe a Spanish or Argentine player might have 4 names in there. In fact, Steven Perez, I think, actually has 4 names for France. There you go. Little fun fact. Now it's going to be a nice step. Passed across, and we will be calling his game a bit later on at 11:03 p.m. when that game for the quarterfinals does kick off. Fiji have this one just outside of their 22. They are now 14 points down and need to score soon. The run forward from, I believe that would have been Tele Wilson. Had that one. Alunisau finds another offload. Here comes Anna Maria Naimasi, taken down nicely on the halfway line and wrestling for that ball there, Ireland, and they win the penalty. Come on, Fiji girls, says Blues there. And it seems to be in the breakdown that Ireland are winning this contest. Anytime it goes down, they just seem to be able to get in there. And Fiji have the most offloads through pool play this weekend with 31. Second most is Japan with 18. They've just shown on the screen. So the fact that they've been able to have so many offloads, Yet in this game, Ireland have had so many breakdown penalties. Maybe it shows why they're offloading so much. It's also that unpredictability that it does add to the team, because we haven't seen too many interceptions throughout this game, but we have seen a lot of turnovers in the breakdown. 4 minutes left. Kavuru now out on the field. She's a star player for this Fijiana women's team. I need to use every bit of her skill here, and it looks like it is going to be Kate Farrell-McCabe making her way onto the field now for the Irish. That is for Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, so perhaps trying to save her for the semi-finals if they do make it that far. She's also looking a little bit tender at the moment, not walking too comfortably. The way she's walking there kind of makes me think of a groin, because she's not really, it's not a limp, but it's just like an uncomfortable waddle. You know, so that's probably the groin or something up top of the leg rather than down the bottom. She did slam herself on the ground pretty hard when she scored a bit earlier on. And hey, Amy says, Brandon, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well once again. The crowd have taken their shoes off. Fair enough. As long as Tai Tuivas is not in attendance, I don't think anyone will be drinking beer out of those shoes. Although they probably will at some stage. It is the Sevens circuit. Anything can happen in the stands. That's going to be a nice step. Nice run too from Claire Bowles. And Ireland starting to have a lot more of the possession as we move further through this match. The Fijians, they were able to score first, but the momentum since then has gone the way of the Irish. For the corner now will be Kate Farrell-McCabe. Only recently made her way on the field. She's been flung like a slingshot. She's gone flying. And that is absolutely brilliant from Bessie. Last-ditch effort. Just grabbed the little Irish lady and went, you're going into touch. See you later. Tell you what, that's got to be almost a record of how far you can throw a woman in the air from a rugby game. She went like a metre. Another Aussie woman playing, says Yanri. Now they actually already have lost. They lost to France just before 10 points to 7, I believe it was in the end. The live stream is definitely, as you do all day, says Brandon. And there, well, we have still got 4 more quarterfinals coming up tonight, and then that is all for today. And then tomorrow we will have a few more matches coming up at the semi-finals and also the other playoff games. It's a loose ball from Fiji. They did all the hard work of forcing her into touch, then gave away the ball, and it's Eve Higgins who's run it in for the Irish on the moon, says Blues Nate there. Miss Sir said, when will the Super Rugby game of 3 halves be on? I believe the first Super Rugby preseason game, I don't think it's next, it could be next week or the week after, I believe. But because they've got Moana Pacifica now, they don't actually need to have the game of 3 halves anymore. I believe it's just teams playing each other type thing. Or at least that's what I've heard. I could be wrong. But yeah, the reason they did the game of 3 halves was because they only had 5 New Zealand sides when preseason was taking place, whereas now they have 6 since Moana Pacifica are based out of Auckland. So yeah, they've got the 6 teams, an even number. And also just 1 all for me for this weekend, not doing day 3, says Brandon. But now the score is 26 points to 5 in favour of Ireland, more than likely going through to the next stage of the comp now. But it would be nice to see Fiji score themselves another try before the end of the game. It's not taken on the full, so it has bounced. And it is Rocco Tuisiga who's got that one loose. Kavuru picks it up. Oh, it's a knock-on from Green. So the scrum feed will go the way of the Fijians. Unfortunately for Fiji, just in that breakdown has been the costly factor for them. Those little mistakes lead to big opportunities, and the Irish are a side who like to take on those opportunities. So more than likely it could be New Zealand-Ireland as the matchup taking place for the semi-finals tomorrow. And sad, but good game played by the Fiji girls, says Amira. And one thing's for sure, they've still got a huge amount of support from the crowd for this matchup. And the same will be said for the men's Fiji match a little bit later on when they do take on Great Britain, a side that have actually had some pretty good form throughout this competition. They were able to beat that's going to be a penalty to Fiji. But yeah, they were able to beat Argentina, the defending champs, who have actually missed out on the quarterfinals. So they've done very similar to what Samoa did. They had Cape Town champions, then they finished 9th in New Zealand. Whereas Argentina, they went from champs, and now at best they can finish 9th. Couple nice steps there. And now another step. At the moment, just trying to find a gap in this Irish defence, and it's very tricky to do so. But they seem to have space now on the left-hand side. Nagasau, ball on the outside. Naimasi It looks like it will be the try for the Fijians. Not enough time left, but it looks like she's still trying to fight for it. She's going to take the quick tap, and they're going to keep going. And also, massive cheer from the crowds. I've just realized, Nate, if they get another try here, Fiji, 19 points to 26 could be the final score, which was my prediction at the start of it. And I'm never right. So that would be absolutely incredible. But the problem here is Fiji have to kick the ball off to Ireland, and I think Ireland will be very keen to just hang on to this ball for a couple phases and then get that ball into touch and say, thanks very much, Fiji. We don't want to have any more big hits from you, and we'll see you a little bit later on in the year. Now, 7 seconds left. Kickoff will be going up from Fiji. It's gone high. And it's going to be slapped back by Ireland. But Fiji managed to hang on to it. In the end, they do. And now they will run in possibly another try. They're 10 metres out. Oh, they've knocked it on. That's the end of it. It was close. I thought for a second I could have been right. But the knock-on ends the game. 12 points for Fiji, 26 for Ireland. And Ireland will be advancing through to this semi-final. Fiji, they still have a little bit of hope. They will be going head-to-head with the loser of the match between New Zealand and Japan. And then from there, they do get to keep on playing through and possibly get themselves 5th place. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Well done, Irish Girls, says Blues, Nate. Yeah, they took their opportunities. They made the most of it. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe and Lucy Mulhall both played absolutely brilliantly throughout that fixture. Yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got 28 minutes to our next live stream, which is going to be Samoa versus New Zealand, an absolutely massive clash of the juggernauts of the Sevens world. So we will be covering that in a very short moment. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.